What is going? Everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Talk Season 2. And we were sorry about that. I was having a few technical problems, and then I couldn't press the live button, but we made it. We have made it. And we were slightly struggling with Hollister's link as well, with our guest link. And I believe I can see our guest in the background. So I'm super excited she's made it, which is super fantastic. And welcome, Leeann. Welcome to our first Season 2 live. Hi. Great for you to be here on Spiritual Talk. And I'm super excited for our first Season 2 broadcast. It's going to be great fun. And we got some new exciting guests coming on. And I can see people are coming in already. We've got hi, Paul Cook. He's there. Hi, Sean. People are coming on. Ashley. Hi, Carol. Good to see you. We got a lot of people coming in already, which is fantastic.
Bear with me, guys. This is all new to me. I'm looking at loads of different things on the screen.
Yeah. By the way, your background is super fantastic, isn't it? With are they fairy lights, or is that your background?
This is my logo, my little lotus flower with lots of sparkles.
Because my Christmas tree in the background is looking a little bit pathetic, to be quite frank, in the comparison. No, but we're there. We are celebrating Christmas already. We're preparing already on a Spiritual Talk. So, without further ado, let's talk about our guest, because she's come a very long way to be here today. And shall I introduce her?
Yes.
So it gives me great pleasure to introduce tonight's guest. She is an internationally renowned medium, author, Hollister Rand. And I'm super excited about getting this lady on. Yeah. I've seen a lot of her. She does some YouTube lives as well. And there's quite a bit of stuff out there actually on Hollister as well. But Hollister's appeared on many shows in America, including shows like America Now, Toni Dean, the Seance with John Edward. I bet that was great fun. Also Coast to Coast and the Jenny McCarthy show. But Hollister has recently published a new book of hers, which is called or entitled, I've got it here actually, Everything We Need to Know About the Afterlife, but was afraid to ask. So we're going to get talking about this as well, because it's a very interesting read. So without further ado, shall we bring Hollister in?
Yes.
Ready? Introducing Hollister Rand. Hello, Hollister. Yeah.
Hello.
I've got my tea as well.
Yay.
Can you see my cup?
I love it.
I love that. I love that.
Hands across the water. Hands across the water.
I love that.
I'm glad you managed to get on here.
Yeah, it was a little dicey. I'm on my phone, not on my laptop.
Okay.
But you guys can hear me and see me, all right?
Absolutely perfect.
Perfect.
So you're based in California, aren't you?
I am. Los Angeles.
It must be midday there.
You know what? It's beautiful weather here.
Yeah. Well, it's cold.
I wish we could say the same.
Yeah, it's cold and wet here, but you're a little bit of sunshine for today to brighten up our sky over here. It's a little bit dark and drizzly, but on Spiritual Talk, we like to get to know the mediums and the healers and people that we have on as our guests. We like to really know about their journey, Hollister. We really want to kind of go back and, was you born a medium, or how did you come into mediumship? Was it something that was a natural for you as a child, or what was your journey?
Well, I think my journey is similar to many who are sensitive. I was sensitive to spirits, absolutely. When I was young, the first spirit I saw was my grandfather, and I couldn't understand why people were saying he was dead when I could see him at the foot of my bed. So I had connections with the spirits, but thought maybe it's not okay. So I kind of tamped it down. But I did have a very severe car accident when I was 18. And with that, it sort of broke everything open. And it was very hard to tamp it down after that. So, but these days, what I see is that children are born sensitive and their parents are allowing them to remain sensitive, which is lovely. And so I really like to help people develop their own sensitivity to the spirits. So I believe that mediums are born, but they are also made. We can all learn to be better at what we do.
Absolutely. I believe it was John Edward that quoted that he actually did a lot of work himself, and he kind of, would you class that as being made a medium? I'm not sure, but the way he described it, I remember one of our past guests on here, Trevor Baldwin, he talked about this, and he found that was a very honest way, because a lot of us mediums can tend to be, it's gifted and you can't work at your gift. But I don't believe that. I very much believe in what John said about that, but you can develop. Anybody can develop, I believe.
Absolutely. There's a degree of talent that we're born with, and then how you choose to develop that and work with that is really up to you. So I'm a better medium today than I was years ago, because of practice and working and developing and really wanting to be the best I can be.
Yeah.
So if you could give any advice to any of our wonderful viewers that are starting out on this beautiful pathway to mediumship, what would be your best advice?
I would say don't try too hard. I think people are so worried about being perfect about this and getting everything absolutely right. When you're first working with spirit, you're developing your personal way of communication, your lexicon. You're learning if spirit gives you this kind of an image, what that means. You're developing your shorthand, and that takes practice. So work with people who will support you in that. I don't think that as people or as mediums, we are meant to develop alone. I think we're better in groups. And so that's one of the reasons why I not only offer online classes, but I like to work in person in workshops, because the energy raises us all up.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So on your journey though, Hollister, I mean, have you found that it's affected your developing your mediumship, or realizing when you was a medium and starting to bring, because you've had, I know you've been working for well over 25 years. And how has that affected your personal relationships? People around you that have not believed in this, or, you know.
Oh, it makes dating a nightmare. I just got to tell you, I was supposed to meet someone for a date, and I called to confirm. And he said, this talking to the dead thing, that's just like for fun, right? I said, no, it's actually what I do. I showed up to the restaurant. He was nowhere to be found. So, it limits the dating pool. Because I also want people who will support what I do, am open to what I do. But my work really does come first in my life. I discovered that it's more than an avocation. It's a vocation. It's a life purpose. Most of the people who take my classes do not go on to become professional mediums. But what they do is create a space for spirit to be present on this earth plane. And I think that that's really the purpose for all of us in some way, is to give the spirits and their perspective a place at our table of life, because of the broad perspective, the frequency of love that they bring, that we absolutely need on this planet. So it isn't necessarily about a career, although it was with me, but it is about creating space for spirit on this earth plane.
Yeah.
I absolutely totally agree with that, because just because someone's developing their inner self doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go on and work as a medium. But the discovering your inner world helps you to kind of define and guide your outer world to where you need to be. And so I recommend anybody out there trying to find or work with your inner work. Absolutely. You know, I think it's really important for us all to find that. And the word spiritualized as well. And that's come up a lot with mediums we've had on here in the past. And I think because that's another part of mediumship that we need to develop, as much as learning to communicate or learning to connect with spirit. We need to develop ourselves as much as we do that to learn to connect, if that makes sense. Is that an important part?
After a time of ghost busting, you know, where I was dealing with kind of the not nice spirits in the universe, I decided I wanted to set the frequency at love, at divine love. And I wanted to work at the highest level frequencies in the universe, because I thought, you know what, align yourself with the best. Why bother with the rest? And so in doing that, it dispels fear. And there's this idea of interconnectedness that we've discovered in these last couple of years with everything that we've been through, how interconnected we truly are. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote my book, Everything You Wanted to Know About the Afterlife, but were afraid to ask. You know, the last, if you want to end a conversation at dinner, talk about death and dying. Shuts everything right down. You know, but what I've discovered is if I tell people I'm a medium, all of a sudden, people have lots of questions. So that prompted me to write the book, because the most interesting questions that people wanted answers to were those that they wouldn't ask in polite company, or wouldn't necessarily stand up and ask in front of a group. So I gathered all of those questions, and the questions in my book are questions that were asked by people writing on pieces of paper at events. And I pull these questions out of a hat and just read them and answer them live like that. I saved these little pieces of paper from all of these events I did. And it was, I answered the ones that were asked most frequently.
So, Hollister, what's one of the strangest questions that you've been asked on the afterlife?
The first question in the book was the one that shocked me the most. And the question is there really an afterlife? Now, the reason I was shocked about that is I was asked this question at a workshop where I assumed everyone at this workshop had sort of settled that question. You know, it was a metaphysical workshop. I was really kind of surprised that someone would ask that. So I could have been flippant with my answer. But instead, I thought, you know what? Let me see what the spirits have to say. What is their answer? Is there really an afterlife? Let's get an answer. So as I stood there, pausing and looking out across the audience, I could see loved ones in spirit showing up next to the people who were attending this workshop. And I heard in my head from all of these spirits, there is no afterlife. There is only life.
Absolutely.
And it stunned me. Because we think in duality here on this earth plane. We think about light, dark, life, death. We think in this or that, this or that. We even think that way when we're planning our diet. Eat this, not that, you know. But with the spirits, it's all one. It is all life.
Yeah. I've always looked at it as being almost like our journey on Earth at the moment is like we're just borrowing this vehicle, and then when it's run out, we then move on to the next one. So it's a bit like it goes to the scrap yard.
I kind of hate to think of all of those cars piling up and getting crushed. You know how they make them look like they're, you know, like little squares of metal. But as a medium, it's interesting you use that analogy. I will often say when I'm doing trance and when I'm doing a physical mediumship, it's almost like I'm allowing a spirit to drive my vehicle, to drive my car. But I'm such a darn control freak that I have a tendency not to want to do that type of mediumship very much.
Did it take you a long time to do that?
Physical mediumship? Yeah, I sat in development circles years and years ago, and was shocked when we actually heard voices in the air, and things like that. But it was very helpful as a young medium to be absolutely convinced that spirits were real. You know, there were things that were so irrefutable with a group of people all witnessing it at the same time, that it was so encouraging as a young medium. And I was doing a group, kind of a gallery style event, and a young man in spirit wanted to be noticed. And he gave me information, and the person it was for was denying. And then all of a sudden, we all heard, "I'm here." Wow. Everyone in the audience heard it.
Wow.
And the person said, "Yes, I know he's here, but I just didn't want to hear from him." Well, and we had a huge breakthrough. Wow. So the spirits can be a tad dramatic.
Yeah. So I did buy a copy of your book, Hollister, and I have to say I love it. And
I appreciate that you did that, Paul. We could have sent you a copy, for heaven's sake.
Oh, I didn't like to be so bold, but I've got lots of markers in here. There's lots of points I'd like to bring up, and in a minute I want to go to the audience as well, because we like our interviews to be interactive with people at home, to get involved and to ask their questions as well, which is pretty much what we do on Spiritual Talk. We like to get that interaction, and quite often people will say to me, "This may be a stupid question, but." And I always say to them, nothing is stupid in my world. Okay, so fire away. So, but to actually, this publication is perfect for that very thing. And thank you for that, for bringing that to the world. There's so many answers in here to a lot of, even as a working medium, we kind of get so far and we have our knowledge embedded, and we kind of we take for granted certain things. And of course, some people don't have that knowledge. So it's a very humorous and quite witty way you've gone about it as well. It dispels a lot of myths as well in here. But there is one, I think it was one in here that talks about the question we're talking about mediumship and how giving messages is so healing. You know, and that to me is a really important part. And do you find that? Do people ask you why do you give messages? Why do you focus on bringing evidence of life after death? Is that something I know you're passionate about that, but
I really am. Mediumship is part of the whole healing area. It is healing work. And many healers will find that they are informed by spirit, whether they realize it or not. I mean, when you're working in energy, it's all energy. So there's some level of overlap. But the most important thing I've discovered as a medium is that the spirits are the ones who do the work. We as mediums are vehicles for their healing energy. We don't do it. So therefore, we don't own it in that way. And as soon as I started getting out of my own way and my own interpretation and my own idea of how a healing was supposed to go, it was very helpful, because everybody comes to mediumship at a different place. And now I've been doing this work for so long that I am now speaking to the grandchildren of my original clients. Let me tell you, that's trippy, especially if you didn't realize that your original clients have now died, and then they're showing up. It's like, boy, you feel familiar to me. It's really amazing to see how there is growth and change in an entire family over time. and how religious people have become spiritual people. And yet there's this connection over time, over eons, and the interest in ancestors has brought the ancestors showing up and healing legacies and healing patterns within entire families that have been there due to trauma and that have been repeated generation after generation. I've been doing this long enough that I'm seeing this firsthand, and this is very exciting. One healing translates into healing an entire family line sometimes.
Wow.
Definitely.
Wow.
So that's what I would say to anyone who is working as a medium. Do not underestimate the power of spirit, because one thing, it really is that butterfly wing on the other side of the world flapping, because one healing echoes throughout time, past, present, and future. It changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly changes our future. Absolutely. If we can get into that healing aspect of ourselves. Absolutely. So we want to open it up and ask people to come and ask questions to Hollister.
We've got a few on here.
Yeah, we've got a few on here already. Takes time. Okay, it's one from Effie. I'm just going to put it up on the screen. Do you want me to read this? Can you see this, Hollister? Do you believe in the council on the other side? They counsel you and your chart before you come here and help you in so many other areas. Is that something you've come across?
Well, I definitely work with spirits who are in it with me for the long run. So, yes, we can call them guides. There's some people who talk about their angels, those who sit down and help chart your life and help guide you through it. I think we call these guiding spirits a lot of different names, but I think maybe the most important thing to understand is that we're not in this thing we call life alone. We didn't come into life alone. We're not leaving life alone. You know, there's that you're born alone, you die alone. I don't know who said that, but I really take issue with it because I disagree with that. We are not alone. We have set some things up in our lives. We have guidance through our lives, and we are absolutely guided as we die.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some more comments. Yeah, I'm sorry. Apologies, guys. Some people say we've been freezing in and out. Sometimes the internet signal can be a bit bad. Bear with us. We're working on that.
It's okay to put one up. I'm still learning.
Help yourself. You can see it. Click on it.
So Mary has put, what is physical mediumship?
Well, I think perhaps the simplest explanation is that the energy of the medium can be used to create a physical presence of spirit on the earth plane, and it's a manifestation usually of some sort or another. So whether it is voice, spirits speaking in their own voice, there's something called a trumpet, which is a very light aluminum collapsible thing, but it's kind of like a cone. When we have worked with spirit, that has lifted up, it has moved, it has turned in the air, and spirit's voices are amplified through it. So there is all sorts of physical mediumship. There used to be mediums who would be in a dark room and paintings would appear. I once had a manifestation in a group where a bishop with a bishop's mitre and everything else showed up. We also had a bishop's chair in the room, by the way, that was given to me by a friend. I don't know why we were so surprised when a spirit bishop showed up to sit in it. I don't know why we were gobsmacked about that. He obviously knew that was a bishop's chair. So it really is this physical manifestation of spirit.
That was beautifully put. Thank you.
It was absolutely. We've got another question here from, I believe, Emma Stanton. I know we touched on this a little bit earlier. Do you think someone has a natural ability to be a medium? or is it something that is something you learn? I've been told I have a natural ability, but I'm unsure what that means and scared to go and find out.
Yes, many people who show up in my workshops are scared to develop their ability. And that's often because one of the first things they come in contact with are either unwanted spirits in their bedroom at night, or they have a sense that someone's going to die and that person dies. So there's terror around, being surprised with stuff that you don't want to know. Your sensitivity, and often a tremendous empathic way of being in the world, is something that can be developed. Grounding, protection are very important first steps. In my book, I have some of those exercises. I also teach some of that online. But when you are grounded and in your body and filling your body with your energy and very present, and build up your auric protection around yourself, it gives you a space to work without fear, and also setting the frequency at divine love. All helpful tools.
Absolutely. Brilliant. We've got another one from Liz. Can you see that one?
Yeah. Did you want to put that up?
Yeah, I can click that up. So we've got a great question from Liz. Hi, Liz. As a sitter, in some of your energy taken for the reading, and can a person have too many readings if they do it often?
Okay, that is more than one question, and I'm happy to answer both. Often people will report after a group session, like a spirit circle or gallery readings, or even a private session, they may feel exhausted. Yes, a spirit will use our energy to communicate, provide information. And also there could be some physical mediumship that's taking place.
Yeah.
And in addition, mediumship is emotional. We have an emotional response when we are connected with loved ones. And even if we're sharing that connection with other people. So when I do group sessions, we all can feel the connection of someone else. We can share the grief, the elation, the laughter. So in some ways, it can be a bit of an emotional roller coaster. So yes, energetically, it can be exhausting. And that is why, as a medium, I limit how many sessions I do in a day, how many I do in a week, how many large events I do. I'm very, very mindful of my energy.
Yeah.
And as far as can you have too many readings? My first book, I'm Not Dead, I'm Different. Kids in Spirit teach us about living a better life on earth, is about kids in spirit. And I spoke with many, many, many grieving parents before and after that book was published. And I think you can imagine that when someone loses a child, or when anyone loses someone they love and they have a connection, they want another connection, sometimes immediately. And people will say to me, can I book another session now? And my answer is, I see people privately limited times through the year. Let's allow the spirits to work in your life for a certain period so that they can develop their own connection with you. I mean, part of my teaching as a medium is to teach people how to be aware when their own loved ones are with them. There really aren't enough mediums in the world to do all the work that's needed. So we might as well be our own mediums as well.
Yeah.
So let's activate that in everybody. So I like to do that. And the other reason that it's not helpful necessarily to have a session. I remember I was doing a week-long mediumship development workshop conference thing. And we had a lot of mediums as teachers and also mediums in attendance. And there was a woman who booked sessions with every single medium. And I was the last medium she booked with. I'm not sure why I got that prize, but I was. And when I was done, she looked at me, she goes, "You're all telling me the same thing." I said, oh, and who's all? You know, I didn't realize she had been to see everybody. I think she thought we were sitting and talking about her and her spirits over dinner or something. But it was because there was the message she needed to hear. And she kept going to different mediums thinking she was going to hear a different message, perhaps. But instead, she kept hearing the same thing. So what I do think is the spirits bring the messages we need to hear. Allow some time to go by and allow those messages to be absorbed and enacted. And then move into mediumship again. That would be a suggestion.
Yeah. I want to come back to your book again, if that's all right, Hollister. There is a section in there. Someone's asked a quote in here. What happens to people who commit suicide? Now, for me as a medium, that's a big subject. In your experience, can you share from your own experience what happens to a soul if they take their own life?
I have a personal experience with this, in that my cousin Tommy killed himself when he was 19 in a very, very public way on the eve of a holiday that was very important to our family. So suicide was a very difficult subject for me personally. And in mediumship, I said to the spirits, you know what? Bring me anybody except people who have died from suicide. That I just, just not going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and then what happened was suicide after suicide after suicide after suicide showed up. And I realized that this was part of my healing as well. I think one of the reasons that people who pass with suicide are so urgently interested in communicating is because suicide seems to be a conversation ender. You know, it seems to be I don't want to talk to anybody. Boom, that's it. And in spirit, we all come to terms with how we have affected those we've loved and those we've wounded. And sometimes those people are the same. And most often in suicide, they are the same. Yeah. The people who have loved us are often the people we wound most by dying in this way. And so in communication, it starts the conversation again. I have not witnessed people who've passed with suicide being separated from other people. They are with loved ones as well. So there doesn't seem to be like a suicide corral or room. You know, I remember when I was a young medium, hearing thoughts or people suggesting that those who committed suicide were in some sort of limbo until their natural lives would have been up. And I couldn't square that with what I was experiencing, which is that they were very present and were with their loved ones. And then a loved one, a person who had passed with suicide, a loved one of someone who came to see me, made it very clear. And it was simply this: if the family believes that their loved one is separated out, if they keep telling that spirit, you are separated out, it is an unholy act, there is an energy, a thought form that forms around that. And it is reiterated from spirit, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Carol's come back with a great question to follow up.
I've just seen that. Yeah.
Did you want to put it up on the screen? Can you see? So we'll come back to the other questions, guys. Don't worry. But Carol's actually put following on from that. Does it mean anything in particular if you are? No, it's the wrong one. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
We wanted the one with the last one. Can you see the last one?
Right. If I hide that,
that's
do you want to bring it up?
Yeah.
But I do like that question. I hope we can answer that.
We come back to that one. I was sitting on that one, ready to bring it up.
Do you think it is written in a contract before you're born that you will commit suicide?
Well, that's really interesting. I do believe, because I keep coming up against contracts, and where I see this is with family legacies. things that repeat on and on and on and on through generations. But there are ways to end these contracts and these beliefs about life. What I have found interesting about many of the spirits I have spoken with, and this does not mean all spirits who have passed with suicide have this experience, but many of them had difficulty getting here in the first place. I have spoken with so many people who've passed with suicide who had a very difficult birth experience, almost didn't make it, almost died at birth. And so in some ways didn't feel like they ever belonged here in some way, or did not want to be here.
Yeah.
Or medical intervention kept them here. So yeah, whether it's a specific contract in that way that we will pass with suicide, because I have to say, working at the frequency of divine love, the idea of coming into the earth with the idea of wounding people, that's a tough one for me to swallow. And I know that people are born who hurt other people. Clearly, we see it in the news every day. But to come into the world with that intent, it would be more like we're coming in for a healing, or to learn, or to be effective in some way. And what I've discovered with those who have survived suicide on this earth plane, they often express unconditional love for those who have died from suicide in a way that I can hardly imagine. Because if you can love someone despite the way they died, and despite how they have hurt you, and can forgive them, you are connecting with the highest levels of love in this universe.
Agreed. Absolutely agree. And those that are still living that hurt us.
That's what I mean. Those who have survived, who are still here. I consider myself a survivor in that I was one left here on the earth plane after Tommy died.
Yeah, we're just going to jump back to, hi Lou, this is a question from Lou Cook. As a medium, I believe Lou's asking, do you see your own family in spirit from time to time?
Oh, that is such a good question. And I do address that fully in the book, but I'll give you kind of the short form here. There's almost a fail-safe built into the universe. Mediumship is a work of service, not self-service. And where I see this most profoundly is in workshops, where people will come to workshops in order to be more connected with their own loved ones. And then all of a sudden, they realize they are giving healing messages to other people in the group, and it changes everything. As a medium, I will feel my loved ones with me, but I won't always see them. As my own mother was dying, and I was with her, I could feel my grandmother. I could feel my great aunt. I could feel loved ones in the room with my mother there for her, but I couldn't see them. And that's one of the big things I have is my clairvoyance, my ability to see. So I was standing there saying, Net, I know you're here. You know, and I'd say, Mom, Net's here and Aunt Day's here. And I'm calling off a roll call because I could feel them there, but I couldn't see them. Yeah. So there is this fail-safe built in that allows us as mediums to be connected, but to not be entirely focused on our own connections with our loved ones for obvious reasons. Otherwise, we'd all sit at home with those people that we love and the heck with everybody else.
Definitely.
Carol has again come up with some brilliant questions tonight. Thank you, Carol. And one that we've just come across from earlier, where I'm going to put it up on screen. Can you say, does it mean anything in particular if you're sitting in the power and meet an unborn sister at an older age? Now, with meditation, that's a thing as well in our development, isn't it, Hollister? That could be
well, you know, sitting in the power, if there's one meditation that's really helpful to mediums, it's sitting in the power. I don't know if I have that one online or not, but there are many really good sitting in the power meditations that are out there. So Carol, kudos for you, number one. When we meet someone who is unborn and seemingly grown up, often what that means is they have been keeping pace with us as we've lived our lives. So what I've discovered about little ones, whether through abortion or through miscarriage or sudden infant death syndrome in some way, they will remain with the families and often attached to their siblings and will continue to grow and guide and protect those in the family. So I think that's a wonderful thing. But yes, spirits can appear as though they've grown up. And in my first book, I'm Not Dead, I'm Different, I talk about that as well.
Yeah, lovely. There's another one here from Effie. Hi, Effie. It says here, the temples on the other side, have you seen them or been inside one of them when in meditation? They can offer so much healing to us. Like that.
Yes. I have caught a number of glimpses of afterlife, and they can be very, very different. The temples, I often feel like I'm in another place and another time. And sometimes when I have sat with other mediums and we would sit at the same time on the same day of the week with the same group, week after week after week, to build energy, to develop our abilities, what we would see happen is pillars growing around us. You know, a structure would begin to form. Oh, I get chills as I'm remembering this because it's so powerful to see these energetic structures. So that's what I would say about the temples, is that they are energetic structures and can show up here for us as well. We don't have to go there. That is really the most amazing thing about all of this, is we don't have to leave our bodies, fly around the universe. Our bodies are our address. The spirits can find us where we live.
Yeah.
And if we sit still at the same time, on the same date, with the same group of people, these healing structures will be reconstructed where we sit.
Definitely.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I've got another one here from Carol Phillips. Are some mediums more inclined to pick up female spirits than male spirits and vice versa?
You know, that is really an interesting question. As I teach mediumship, one of the important things I posit is that we become open to all energies coming in love. That being said, I do think that people have specialties or affinities. So just as, you know, imagine if you were at a big party, let's say, there would be some people at the party you would feel drawn to and connected to.
Yeah.
And you would have instant communication with them. I think that is the same way it is with spirits. I remember one lady said to me, you know, you're the only medium my husband comes to. He seems to like you. And I thought, that's really funny. So there is something about our energy as mediums, which is conducive to communicating with some spirits, or there is a level of connection. Yeah. But as a teacher of mediumship, I always suggest that we expand our energy and we become more inclusive. So that can change in time. So what I would say is today's person who connects primarily with females may tomorrow connect primarily with males. You just never know. Allow yourself to grow as a medium.
Yeah, absolutely. The questions are flying in, Hollister. We're okay for time if you're okay for
another
time.
One? You okay for time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay to go on.
Yeah.
Great. We've got a question from Lee. And next one, we've got one from Sean as well. Does the energy of spirit change with the age they passed, e.g. a teen compared to a grandmother?
What is intriguing is that spirits can appear to a medium at whatever age they choose and whatever energy level they choose. So, for instance, I may meet a grandmother who died with a debilitating condition and exhausted. And as she first comes to me, I may say to the sitter, oh, I'm so exhausted. This person could not live one more day. Just want to close my eyes, go to sleep, not wake up again. And the sitter will say something like, well, that's just how she died. She closed her eyes and never woke up. And she said she just wanted to sleep, go to sleep and not wake up. And that's how she died. And then next instance, I see someone who looks like, she's dancing at Studio 54 or something. And it will be this same grandmother as she was as a young and wild person. I'm like, woo, okay. So throughout the time when I'm speaking with a spirit, they can not only provide evidence around how they died, but also evidence of how they felt when at their most energetic. So to go from somebody who was so exhausted, they just wanted to close their eyes and die, to someone who's dancing at Studio 54, holy cow. But that's the kind of ride you go on when you're a medium. It really can be quite fun.
Yeah. As a medium, I'm going to ask a fellow medium, Hollister. So I experienced recently a very similar situation where a gentleman that, bless him, he wasn't that much older than me, had so many physical ailments. Poor thing. He wanted to go, and he, like you said, he just couldn't live another day. And I really struggled to get my energy, and I asked him to step back, take it back. How did you deal with that? How would you deal with that?
One of the first little tools I learned, because I feel, my clairsentience can really be quite something. And if you're an empath, Paul, as you are, you really feel everything.
Yeah.
So it'll just sit here in your heart. And then, there were times when I was getting every ache and pain of the person who passed. I mean, physically, I would feel it. The hip problem. There was one person who died with a disease that expanded the internal organs. And I was sitting with the sitter and I said, I feel like I'm like the Michelin Man. Like my body is expanding and puffing out. And she said, yeah, that's exactly the disease that he had, was, his body was expanding. And then what I've developed is this little thing where I go, thank you, take it away.
Yeah.
It's so fast. I just move right through it. Thank you. I thank the spirit for the information because it's evidence.
Yes.
Take it away. And it goes. And then the other thing I do is then bring the energy right up through my feet, all the way to the top of my head, almost like I'm clearing the energy. And then it just grounds me and connects me to spirit right away again. And you know what else that's helpful for is when spirit gives us so much love. And I'm sure both of you have come sort of in the middle of this, where you're so overwhelmed you can't even speak. It's just like, you can say thank you and then move the energy right through to, sort of clear the palate, so to speak, so that you can move on. And as a medium, it's really okay to pause. It's really okay to take a breath.
Yeah.
It's really okay for there to be dead air, because I can assure you it's never dead air. It's always very alive with spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. We've had some great questions still flying in.
So,
We've got one from
Did you see?
Sean.
Yeah. And then there's another one, Facebook user. It hasn't actually got a name on it.
Yeah, they're coming in via the group. I believe that was Debbie, but I'll bring that up here. This is from Sean. For people that are starting out on their spiritual journey, would you recommend joining development circles? Did you find this helped increase your spiritual development?
Yeah, I'm a real fan of development circles. Good development circles. it's important to find people who are truly committed to the work and are willing to show up week after week after week at the same time with the same group. And people who are aligned with spirit rather than a personal sense of feeling special in some way.
Sorry, Hollister, I don't like to interrupt, but that was a really important point that you made there. Can you just explain to the listener why it's important to be dedicated and devoted to showing up same time every week? Could you explain a little bit about that as well? Sorry.
Yes. Oh no, that's
really
fine. Well, part of it is, the spirits don't have time. So it's not that they have watches over there and they're like, oh yeah, we've got a development circle in 5 minutes. Everybody show up. It's not about that. It's about intention and building energy.
Yeah.
So when you intend and you show up and your energy is joined, it is honored. It is about living an honorable relationship with yourself, with the others in your group, and with spirit. I have such chills as I say this. We must have a lot of mediums on this call. I mean, besides the three of us sitting here. But there really is the desire that spirit has that we show up. I mean, when you think about it, church services are once a week at the same time. They're very ritualistic. There is something about ritual and spirit and commitment and intention that allows us to grow in a way that sort of haphazardness does not.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Totally. Brilliant. So honestly, the comments just keep coming in and in and in. There's so many questions here tonight.
Well, that's why I wrote my book. I thought my book would be kind of like one and done. Okay, I'll answer all the questions and there'll be no more. But there are always more questions, as you can see.
Just in case anybody watching, guys, this is the book. Lots and lots of answers to your questions in here. Okay.
And I'm having that when you've finished, please.
Yeah. Okay. That's a deal. Okay, so let's do some more. There was one that we wanted to answer from Carol, wasn't there?
Was that, if I flick it up, was that this one?
It was.
Possession.
No.
This is a very, very interesting question. Before I was a full-time medium, I was a Christian singer, and I was involved with the charismatic Christian church. And came face to face with what seemed to be true possession cases. And it was really stunning. As a medium, because I've chosen to work at the frequency of divine love, that is not an area I choose to work with anymore. And I work in a very protected space and with very, very protective energies. But this is one of my concerns with a lot of the drug addiction and alcoholism that we see today, because as I look at people's energy fields, I can see and feel weaknesses, which are often exasperated with drug addiction and addictions of any kind. And with those weakened conditions, our natural protections aren't as strong. So that's what I would say to all of us is let's keep our energy healthy as well as everything else. Keep ourselves protected. And there are those who are called to, and it is a calling, are called to work with the very difficult spirits of the universe. And the other thing that I would say is there is nothing on earth or in heaven that cannot find redemption in some way and cannot grow and change. And I have to tell you, there are people who have written me all sorts of nasty emails when I say things like that. I know we would really like people to burn in hell forever. I get that, especially people who've given us a hard time.
Yeah.
But all of us are in need of love. All of us are in need of healing. And at no point, ever, 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 is anyone shut out of the possibility of change.
Which is what is so remarkable about the human existence, in terms of even at the moment of death, we can ask for that forgiveness.
Well, death is said to be the great transformer, and in many cases it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an out of body experience, and I've touched the essence of spirit. So, and the love, it just, I can't describe it correctly.
Yeah, I've had spirits who on this earth plane have committed unspeakable acts. And when they died, it would have been the most horrific thing to face all of that. But with love, being in the space of love and being able to accept responsibility for that, it really is transformative.
Yeah.
I always say the heart space knows nothing but love. So if you surrender to that, then there can't be anything else. That's all that you can. Doesn't know anything else. That's what it's. In my opinion, that's what it's there for.
And the other thing I'd like to say here is those, because, with people who've passed with suicide or have had really, really difficult lives, when they die, they experience all the love that was offered to them on this earth plane. So if you have lost someone to suicide and thought, I guess my love just wasn't enough, please know that love is something people can take with them when they die. I had one young man in spirit tell his mother, your love was like a gift that I was finally able to open.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I've got slightly different. So, what was your dream job?
Well, you know what? I love this question. And I'm old enough to have had a dream job, by the way, before I was a medium, unless you think I'm only 30 years old. And with that, I will just give you a kiss and a hug. I started out as a musician when I was very, very young and traveled singing and writing music, playing piano. And I moved to Los Angeles to be in the entertainment industry. And I wanted to work at very high levels of the entertainment industry. And I ended up doing that and loving every minute of it, and would never have left it behind if circumstance hadn't ended it for me and moved me into mediumship full time. So I was a practicing medium. I was even on radio and all of this kind of thing while I still held my dream job. So I just want you all to know, what, but the funny thing was, while I had my job in the entertainment industry, I was always practicing my mediumship, and I was practicing my psychic ability. So the phone would ring and I was, running 250 calls a day, if not more. And, I'd be like, okay, so who's this? And I'd see if I was right. That was before caller ID. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. So I've just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm jumping around a little. There's been a great question coming from Stephanie Louise. Can we put that up? Well, let me just put that up for you. And this is an interesting question. Have you had any spirits who have been missing, stroke murdered too? So, there's a couple of things that come off from that. Hollister, do you find some people, I've heard some mediums talk, sometimes I'll have a missing spirit come in. Is that something that you believe in, or is that something?
Well, I'm often asked if I can find someone who's missing. And I usually decline because that is not my job. That is really not what I do. But I have spoken with people who have been murdered. And what is surprising maybe to many is they are not necessarily excited about solving their murders. They're much more excited about reconnecting with loved ones.
Yeah.
And bringing the healing of reconnection. And I'm thinking of one young man in particular who showed up at a large group event, and he had been murdered. And he let his mother know that she did not have to spend everything to make sure that his killer was brought to justice, that there was no need for her to do that because it wouldn't change his circumstances, that he was okay.
Yeah.
And it turned out that this woman had sold her house, had done all of these things to fight for justice for her son. And he didn't need her to do that. So with a murder, there are many victims, not just the one who dies. Yeah. And so the person who is murdered so desires to bring love and healing to those who have been affected, because earthly justice doesn't always do that. Earthly justice doesn't solve brokenheartedness, and it doesn't solve loss, but connection with spirit can.
Yeah. Yeah. Very powerful. There's another question, quick question here from Carol Hollister. Can you tell the relative of a missing person whether they are still alive or have passed?
Well, yes and no. So if a spirit shows up, I know I'm talking to someone who has passed. But not always do spirits show up when we want them to, for a myriad of reasons. So someone could have died, and if I'm not speaking with them, it doesn't mean that person is alive. So I think making assumptions that, I can't make the spirits do anything. Rarely are we disappointed, but I can't co-opt a spirit and say, if you're dead, come talk to me. But if you're missing, stay away. What? I mean, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. 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 Okay. We've got a great question from Liz. And we have always eventually get round to talking about our guides. And this one from Liz: are you sometimes getting messages from your guides rather than directly from the sitter's loved ones?
The mediumship that I do is pretty specifically connecting to loved ones in spirit. If it is a guide or an angel, I can also discern that that is who is presenting the information. But what I have seen sometimes in spirit has intrigued me, and it's this. I will see the sitter sitting across from me or on Zoom or something, and I will see a loved one in spirit next to them. And then I will perceive a guide or, another high-level spirit speaking to the loved one in spirit, who then gives me the information. Now that's intriguing. And I had to sit with spirit and go, what's this? Because I'm always interested in seeing new things, learning new things. How does this really work? Well, some people are not open to hearing from guides or receiving higher level information. Let's face it, we will believe what we hear from the people we know, not some, who knows what's it person showing up. So someone may be more apt to act on information that is presented by a loved one in spirit than a nebulous guide, perhaps. So I think that the spirits get the information through as they need to. And it's a cooperative kind of thing.
Definitely. We have another one here. Have you ever had no spirit whatsoever turn up for a sitter? And that's from Carol.
Yes. Yeah. One, and it's very rare that this happens. So first of all, let's say that. So when it does happen, I pay attention to it. Because if I've done all that I need to do to be connected, and let's say I have done 4 sessions in a day and had good connections, but there's a session in which no one shows up, I know it's not because I'm not prepared, or, it's not something that I haven't been ready for. It's something else entirely. And this happened one day. A man came and there was, as a sitter, and I saw no one. Now, let me reassure you that just because a medium sees no one doesn't mean that no one's there. Yeah. It's just that for whatever reason, we're not allowed to see. Sometimes I will even get a sense that something is shrouded, and I'm not allowed to take a look at it for whatever reason that may be. But I could see nothing. I could hear nothing. It was like a black hole. And I said, I'm sorry. I have nothing for you here today. And I don't know why. Well, interestingly enough, the man contacted me. The next day, his father had died of a heart attack.
Oh.
And I realized at that point, had we had a session and nothing was mentioned about his father dying, he would have questioned all mediumship and everything about that.
Yeah.
If he had been told that his father was going to die, he might have taken extreme measures like carting his father off to the hospital, as a sort of, a preventative measure.
Yeah.
So that's not to say that if a spirit doesn't show up for someone, that it means something dire is going to occur. That is not what I'm saying at all. So let me be clear about that. It could be any reason. But you asked me, did this ever happen? And yeah, it happened in this case. But this man's purpose in coming to me was trying to figure out whether mediumship was real or not. That was his intention. And so the fact that nothing happened because there was a no-win situation with his father dying at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Yeah, we've had so many questions. One of the things I was going to ask you in the book as well, one of the questions that I get a lot, and it's covered in the book, is do our loved ones know that we love them?
Oh, yes. Unequivocally, yes.
Yeah.
They can feel it. They can hear it. There's that connection. If you send thoughts of love with your loved ones in spirit in mind, they receive it. It goes right to their inbox.
Yeah.
So just know those messages get through, and you don't need a medium to tell someone in spirit that you love them.
Absolutely. I know. I find that so frustrating. I wish people would understand that. I mean, I try to spread the word about that. You literally just have to think of that person in your heart, and they'll feel it. Wherever they are in the universe, they feel it. And that's really, really powerful. Yeah. Thank you, Hollister. It's been absolutely.
You have a little question.
Oh, have you? Sorry, Leeann.
I'm going to get this one in before you disappear on us.
Yes.
So, in your spiritual point of view, where do you think the world's heading?
Oh, good question.
Well, because I work at the frequency of divine love, and because that's where I stand, and because I work with spirits providing hopeful and helpful messages, that is my perspective always. I believe that we are all headed for love, for light, for healing, for connection. And together with spirit, we can make a huge difference on this earth plane right where we are. And that's what I intend to do every moment of my life from here on out.
Beautiful.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was lovely.
And if we all do that, it will change the world. Be clear about that.
Yeah.
Because
the destiny of the world is in our hands.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm glad I was able to get on here.
Yeah.
It was a little nerve-wracking.
It was a little nerve-wracking. We got there. We did get there. Yeah, absolutely. And we really appreciate your perseverance. We really do. And it's lovely to see you. And we are so pleased you could make it tonight. And
thank you for giving up your time for us this evening.
I'm delighted to be with you all. Thanks so much, everyone.
You take care, Hollister. Thanks so much.
All right.
Bye. 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 Oh, that was awesome.
Wow.
That was awesome. So we've kind of overrun, guys, which we're really sorry. We've gone over about 10 minutes, but that's absolutely fine. We're just going to be free flowing and go with the flow. So we can either do one message or maybe a little bit more, or we could also do a little meditation. What do you think? A healing meditation. What do you think, Leeann?
What would everyone else like for us to do? So
this is let us know.
Your last 15 minutes. Give us a shout what you'd like.
So we're going to see the messages. We're also going to click on the link. So if we do whether we do mediumship or meditation, we'll put it into the comments. But please feel free to feed back to us what you'd like us to do this last 15 minutes. But we're going to do that with the last half an hour. Normally we're going to give you some options as well. We're also going to bring in people that want to showcase themselves as well. Sean's put anything you fancy. Lee's put healing meditation, please. Stephanie's put mediumship. Love that. So yeah, there's
okay. Wait, how long have we got left?
We got 15 minutes, 16 minutes.
Can we round it and do 10 minutes each?
We can try. We certainly can try. Let's do it. So guys, if you want to come in and join in the meditation, click on the link. I'm just going to copy and paste the link now, if I can, with my technical genius, which I'm so bad. Oh, great. Dylan in the back room has got it for us. Thank you, Dylan. So if you want to click on the link, you're more than welcome to come in and join us. Okay, so we'll start with a meditation first.
Well, do you want to start with your messages first?
I was going to say, a flip a coin. I don't mind.
Go, you can start first.
Okay. As you put me on the spot, let's do that then.
I'm going to be a lady and let you go first.
Okay, so let's do. Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, actually, it should be ladies first. Actually,
that's okay. I surrender in love. I'm allowing you to go first.
I'm just going to share the link again because some people are not getting the link. Copy, and I'm going to see if I can paste that into the link. We've got Sean coming in and paste. Here we go. So if people want to come in, they're welcome to come in. Okay, so I might not bring you into the stream yet, guys. If you're coming in for the meditation, I'll hold you in the back room as well. Okay, so don't worry if you're coming in, and we're just going to bring through a contact straight away. So I know I've got a gentleman with me because he's been here pretty much from the beginning of the show. When I went into panic mode, because Paul Hollister couldn't get on the stream and we was going over time, this gentleman said to me, it'll be fine. Don't worry. It'll be absolutely fine. Okay, I've got a gentleman that's coming in from Spirit here. And I know he's a father figure because he is making me aware that he's a father figure. And he's laughing at this and chuckling at this as well. Because I have a funny feeling someone knows this gentleman. His name, I'm getting the name David as well. I know he's a father figure. And I know he's here very much. Okay. He's still laughing at me. Now, I have a really bad feeling, Leeann, this could be for you.
As soon as you said that, I was like...
So he's just given me the name David. I knew his father figure, but then I started chuckling, and I thought, this is ironic. This is going to be a message for you. So can I give this message? So I did feel, when I said that he was with me at the beginning, at the start of the show, he was obviously there for support. So I know this gentleman is dad. I know his granddad as well. I know there's another gentleman as well in the back room. Now, I did a reading for your partner yesterday over the telephone, because he's also talking about that he was helping me give me some of the information to my guides, because I was doing an aura assessment for your partner, wasn't I? Which is quite funny. So I'm sorry, I'm just going to give you this quick message and then we'll go into the meditation. I'm so sorry, guys. You can't, it's just how it is. Sometimes they flow in. I've got the name. He keeps, I know his name's David. He keeps coming in. I know he would have passed with a heart attack. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the problem is you're a friend of mine, and also we're now working alongside each other. I know too much about you, so I'm a little bit worried. So
So now it's going to give you information you don't know.
I'm asking him for other information that I don't know about you. Okay. So I know very much that he would have passed as you as a child. Okay. I feel that this young energy around you was younger, a lot younger. There's a real sense of bewilderment. I actually want to take you into being a young adult. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, but there was a sense of, how can I say this? I feel like your childhood finished, and that's just an obvious thing to say. Your childhood finished when he passed. Does that make sense? It was almost like the innocence of that gone. It's almost like something was stolen from you. I know it's an obvious
that would have been somebody else, but yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to keep going. He's trying to give me the name Mark as well that connects in here. The name Mark. Now, I want to go out to extended family to this as well that he's trying to give me. I also feel that he's talking about something else he's trying to give me, a new grandchild. I know this is happening, a new grandchild. But again, I'm going out this name Mark as well that extends out into the family as well. I am going to stop because everyone's thinking, oh, Leeann's got a message. It's not fair. So I'm sorry, guys.
Give it to me after.
I'll give it to you afterwards and we'll crack on with the meditation. Okay. This will teach you for getting me to go first. Okay, guys. So I'm going to bring you in. You don't have to come on camera if you want to join in the meditation. So I'm going to add you to stream. Hi, Sean. Ollie, if you can just
Hi.
Because I'm hearing myself like that. So if you can turn your volume down, that'd be great. Oh, there you go. I can mute you so I don't hear myself. Sorry, buddy. So we're going to do a little meditation. We'll do a little healing for about 10 minutes.
So I don't know who I'm getting. God, I said I would have picked stuff like this up, but my heart. So I don't know whether it's like healing heart meditation. I feel quite overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like emotional. So.
Do you want me to stay present while you do the meditation?
No, you can go into it if you want to.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. If I can get everyone at home, whoever's in the studio, I just want you to relax into your chair, sofa, couch, wherever you are. Just relax, close your eyes, and I want you to take a nice deep breath in through your nose, filling your chest, and then gently breathe out through your mouth, allowing your shoulders to just drop. And take another nice deep breath in through your nose, filling your chest and your tummy. Hold, and then gently breathe out. Now I want you to go into your heart space. And as you go to your heart space, I want you to feel a ripple of unconditional love. And I want you to feel this ripple of unconditional love as it ripples from your heart space all the way up to the top of your crown. And as it touches the top of your crown, I want you to feel it ripple back down through your body, all the way down through your chest, down through your tummy, down through your legs, all the way down to the soles of your feet. And allow it to ripple back up through your legs, up through your tummy, and back into your heart space. Now I want you to see this ripple out through your body, out into your aura. So see it ripple 6 foot in front of you, behind you, above you, below you, to the right and to the left. And feel this ripple out and ripple all the way back in through your body, back into your heart space. Now, as you feel back into your heart space, I want you to see just above your heart space, there is a beautiful turquoisey glow between your heart space and your throat. Now I want you to gently breathe into this area and expand it out, down to your heart and back up to your throat. I want you to feel this pulsating and rippling as it ripples down through to your heart space and back up into your throat and back down until it rests just in the middle of your heart and your throat. I want you to gently breathe in this beautiful feeling of unconditional love. And allow your body to center within this space. I want you to think of any worries, concerns, any fears you might have. And I want you to acknowledge them and then see them rest into this space. And as we do so, surround it in unconditional love. Acknowledge it, feel it. And then gently breathe in, and as you breathe out, see this thought, image, or feeling be released in unconditional love as it comes out through your breath, out into the universe. And as you breathe it out, we see it expel into unconditional love. And I want you to do this for every thought, feeling, or image that pops into your head. And as you do this, allow my heart to be placed upon yours. And as it does, I want you to be aware of the warmth that ripples from your heart all the way up to the top of your crown. As it ripples back down through your throat, your chest, down through your tummy, down through your legs, all the way down to the soles of your feet. As this beautiful, healing, unconditional, loving energy ripples throughout your entire body. Now I want you to go down to the soles of your feet. And as you do so, I want you to imagine beautiful roots that are starting to grow out of the soles of your feet. With each breath, see these roots becoming thicker and stronger as they go down through to the core of Mother Earth, grounding you, giving you strength. See these roots become stronger and thicker. I want you to see these roots come up through the soles of your feet, wrapping gently around your ankles, so the energy from Mother Earth anchors into your body, grounding you, cleansing and clearing. As we go back into your heart space, I want you to feel a beautiful purple flame. And I want you to feel this flame grow within your heart as it grows and becomes taller, bigger and stronger, so that you become encased in this beautiful purple flame that goes from the soles of your feet all the way up to the top of your crown. As this purple flame cleanses and clears and allows your body to become clearer, lighter, and free-flowing, beautiful, unconditional healing energy. I want you to come back into your heart space. Take a nice deep breath in and gently breathe out. And in your own time, I want you to wiggle your hands and toes and gently become aware of the room around you. And when you're ready, open your eyes. You okay there, Lee?
I was going to say, Lee, it was quite amusing, Lee. I was watching your cat attack you at the same time. You did really, really well not to kind of move from that. It was really interesting as well while you was on camera. I don't know if people at home could feel that. You had a gentleman come in behind you. And I do believe it's your grandfather. I know I've read for you before, and I believe it looked like your grandfather who's been in before. I recognised his energy, and he came down the stairs and stood behind you, and very much with you and around you. And just like what Hollister was saying tonight, our loved ones around us all the time. So, and that was a really good example of that. Really good example of that. I am also aware that you're in a new house. Are you aware that are you picking up other activity within that house? And
should we unmute you?
Yeah, if I can unmute you.
Yeah, I have. Especially when you said about the stairs. Because I felt like stuff's been running up and down the stairs.
Yeah.
And it's not just the cat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there is. I'm just going to mute you while I'm talking back at you. There was definitely the grandfather that came down the stairs that connected with you. And like I said, I've read for you before and I recognize his energy. But there is a couple in there actually that are in. Whereabouts are you? You're in Norwich, aren't you? Are you in the old part of Norwich?
Sprowston.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, interesting.
But
I'm gonna just mute yourself again. Yeah, you're somebody who's developing and has your own ability anyway. So you will pick up on stuff like that around you anyway. So it's been brilliant. Charlotte, I don't know if you can hear us. If you want to come on camera, how did you find the meditation?
Let me unmute you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, can you do? I can do it from this end. There you go.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, no. It was funny because when you brought us on and Leeann said that she felt like really deep in her heart, I felt exactly the same at the same time. Because it literally feels like it's pulsating out of my body. That's like what I felt as soon as you said that, Leeann. I was like, I know she's picking up me because I felt exactly the same that you felt. So, and yeah,
I'm going to be apologising to you all because I'm going to be picking up your emotions. So if I start crying on live,
but during the meditation, I felt because I was kind of connected to what you felt, it calmed me down. So that was good because I felt a lot calmer afterwards. And
lovely.
Yeah, it wasn't so like it was really like intense, like in my heart center. And I was just like, oh, she can pick up me. I know she can. And then I was just like,
there's no hiding.
I know. I was like, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh damn, she's picked me up already. Yeah, but no, it was really good because it like felt a bit calmer afterwards when she felt up that pressure. So that was good.
Hopefully you have a good night's sleep as well.
Yes, definitely.
And hopefully people at home were following as well.
Yeah.
So it's good. Next week, we should talk about next week's guest. Next week, we have the amazing Ashley Tier from Northern Ireland. And it's going to be good. She's a medium, but she does like a form of hypnotherapy, releasing negative patterns and ideas from our energy. and she's going to do it live. We're not going to have to go off camera. We're going to do it live. So if you'd like to be a volunteer, please come back next week. And Sean's gonna. They do say you should never volunteer straight away, Sean, because you never know what you're getting yourself in for. But it's going to be good. It's going to be really interesting. And we met Ashley last week, and she's a wonderful energy. She's got a really strong buzz around her, and I'm really excited about working with her next week. So it's going to be really good, really, really good. So it's just time for us guys to say goodbye, and we'll see you again this time next week.
Yeah, thank you everyone for making me feel so welcome, and I'm sure I'll pick this up. Just bear with me and give me a little bit of time.
Yeah, we'll get it. It's all different. It's all new. So thanks, Leeann. We'll see everybody next week. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye. Bye. Bye.